Hello, happy stampers. Kate here with Kate's Paper Creations, ready to show you another card. This is the card we're going to make today. It's a pretty simple card because I want to spend some time talking about a couple of other things related to it. So we're going to put that aside for just a moment, and I'm going to talk about what I'm going to be using. This card, I'm going to be using the brushed brass butterflies. I can't get that out very well sometimes. There's two different sizes and they're very flat, so it's my bling without bulk. I'm going to be getting more of these even if they end up discontinued because they are just beautiful and they will mail wonderfully. I'm going to be using the Sentiment from Forever Fern for the card today. This is a stamp set that's in the main catalog. The layering circles are also still available in the main catalog, and I'm going to be using one of those to cut out the circle for the card, and it's the circle that's 2 1/8 inches. I'm going to be using the Artistry Blooms sequins as well for a little bit of bling on the card, and I'm also going to be using the Open Weave ribbon, and this is the Pale Papaya color. So that's what I'm going to be using today, but primarily I want to talk about the Butterflies and Flowers masks. Now I labeled it this, but in the catalog it says Butterflies and Flowers Layering Masks. Kind of a unique concept that I hadn't seen before. Some of you who are more avid stampers might have already experimented with this type of mask before. So I ordered them not really knowing whether I would use them or not. But once I got them out, I have to confess, I was somewhat impressed. So let me show you. We'll get a piece of paper here. There are 3 background masks. There's this one that's kind of a leaf vine kind of thing. And when it is, let me clean that off. There we go. I had my temporary ink on that. This is what it looks like. This is a little bit tricky to ink. You're going to want to do a more pressing down kind of action like this instead of going like this, because these vines move really easily. Okay, another tip that you're going to want to use with these is you're going to want to use washi tape to hold them in place. Washi tape works the best, okay? So you just tear it, it holds them nice and snug on the paper, and then you can do your, like that, you can do, and you can put them several pieces around to hold it in place. And for this one, it needs a lot of help because it does move pretty easily. A product that we've had in the past that you may still have that would work really good with this is the sponge brayers. I don't know if you remember these. They're no longer available, but you may still have them as I do. And it works really great with this particular one because you can just roll across it and it doesn't move the vines around. So just a tip that might be helpful to you. Okay, the next one is this design. This is the one we're going to use on the card today. And then a third one is, oh, and let me show you what it looks like just by itself. I used some, I did this 2 ways. I used it with the blends brush like this, and I also used it with the roller and blended the colors. And so that's kind of the look you get with that one. Then this last one is this one. I'm getting a little bit of glare there. And there you go. And this is the pattern. And you can see how you can move it around. But this is the pattern you're going to get with that particular background. Then you're going to get into, there we are, the masks that are layering. And so there's this one, and this flower adds the details to this flower cluster. This flower goes with this flower. okay? And we'll show you, I'll be showing you a little bit about how that works. But here is a card I made, well, not a card, but a sample that I made using this mask. And I put a piece of washi tape on there so I'd keep the right side up all the time. It just helps me. So, and it's kind of a tip because you can easily get confused. Which side was that? Was that, you know, and you start twisting it around and you go, okay, how do I match this up? And it can get frustrating. So I just put a little piece of washi tape there to help me keep that straight. So I put this on here like this and inked my pieces. And then when it came time to do these, you basically just want to move it up. Okay, just like that. And it's going to line up and you can add the second color. You do want to be somewhat careful because when you're putting the second color on, colors can get kind of muddy. And you can see here where my colors overlapped and it got just a little bit muddy looking. It's okay, but it's not, maybe not as nice as you would want it to be. Another tip, you want to have either a baby wipe or a chamois or something handy, and you will want to wipe the ink off of these. It's not going to dry on there, but it's easily transferred to things you don't want it on. And so before you start moving it around on your card front, I would recommend wiping it off. And I have those lint-free microcloths that I can then kind of dry it with so it's ready to reuse right away. So there's another tip. You'll want to clean it basically right after you use it each time. That's what I have found. Okay, so that's kind of something I made with that. This is what they look like without overlapping them, just so you get some idea of what you're working with. Then there is this one, and there's leaves on here, and they have a little curve. Oh, let me get this out of the way so it's easier to see. Excuse me. Each of these leaves has a little curve to it at the bottom, so it's easily lined up. As you can see on that first card, that first piece I showed you, you can get the leaves lined up right with the edges because you can lay it down and find a spot where those line up, and you're going to want to, you'll have to move it around to find just the right spot, but you can do it. And then you just lay it down, use your washi tape. You're going to use your washi tape to keep your brushes from going where you don't want them and all of that. And we'll show you some of that. So that's the other one that has the leaves for the background, and then it has these 3 flowers that you can layer. Then there is this one, and it has the butterfly, and of course you can do the butterfly and then put the center in it, and this is what the butterfly looks like. It's just gorgeous. It's so pretty. I just used fresh freesia and Gorgeous Grape, I believe, to do this. Came out really cute. And then there's this flower. Now this flower and this flower match up like this. And when you match them up, you get this look. I wink of Stella in mine. Yes. So this is the look you get when you match these 2 flowers, this one and this one. Okay. Then I played with it just a little bit, and I put this down with a lighter color. And by the way, that's tip number 3 today. Start with your lightest color and work down to the darker colors. Another tip that you're going to want to remember. So I did this one with my light color, and then I brought this one in, and instead of lining it up to match like that, I offset it like this, and I got this look, which I kind of liked. I kind of thought that was fun. And then again, I wink of Stella, the darker color. But you might want to give that a try. It was just something that crossed my mind that I thought I would give a try, and I was tickled with it. So it kind of looks like there's layers to the petals. So there you have it. So let me make sure I've given you all your tips. Tip 1, have a chamois or a wipe ready to clean the masks after you use it. Tip 2, use washi tape to mask off the areas where you don't want ink to be and to hold your masks in place. Tip 3, mark your piece so that you know which is the front and you're not getting all twisted around. Tip 4, always start with your lightest color first. Tip 5, watch out for your layering because sometimes you'll end up with a really muddy color if you're not careful. And then just being careful using the daubing motions with the leaf vine mask. And let's see what else. Of course, you can take these background masks, and I saw someone doing that where they took these flowers and they put them on the butterflies. There, you could take this and put it on the butterfly by putting it like this, putting it behind, and then laying down your mask off these things, and then ink, and you're going to get a whole different look. Maybe I should show you one. Let's try it. Like I say, this is the bulk of the video today. It's just some how-tos and some experiments. So this is Highland Heather, and this is Gorgeous Grape. We'll just get those out because that's what I was using to experiment with. And let's just try this. Let's do the butterfly first in the lighter image. Now here I am, got to follow my own rules. First of all, I'm going to tack down the die so it doesn't move on me while I'm doing it. Then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cover up here because I'm pretty wild when I start doing that brushing. I just don't even think to look about where I'm going. So I'm going to cover up those pieces. And I'm going to come up here and cover up that flower up above so I don't get the ink anywhere I don't want it. There we go. Now I'm ready to follow my rules. I'm not going to be super careful here, so you'll have to just put up with my crazy inking. It's still going to show up like we want it. Okay, there's that one. Now we're going to pick this up, and I'm going to put this down over it. Let's see if this works, because this is what I was thinking, and I haven't tried it yet. So now, if you just did it like this, you wouldn't have any way to keep the ink from going where you don't want it. So what I'm going to do is put this over it and line it up with my butterfly that I have already inked and press it into place. I'm probably going to wish I put a piece of washi tape on that border piece to hold it in place. Then I'm going to take my Gorgeous Grape and let's see what happens. See if it worked. Voila! Look at that! Woohoo! It worked! Yay! So there's another thing you can do with your layering masks. Isn't that awesome? So that would apply to, let's get follow my rules again and clean those off. There's that one. I have a lamp up here I stick with my washi tape to and reuse. And then let's clean this one up. I got a lot of ink on that one. And I'll clean up my work surface. I usually put down a piece of paper underneath myself, but I got kind of carried away there. There, those are clean. We can set those aside. Okay, so what fun, right? You're going to want to get these masks because the possibilities start to grow on you as you go through them, don't they? So now let's just make that card, and then we'll be done for the day. Okay, so again, this is the card we're going to make. And it starts with just a standard basic white thick card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored if you're going to score it, which I don't really do much of anymore. I just line up my edges and then bone fold the edge. So that's the base card. Layer 1 is Melon Mambo, and it is 4 by 5.25, and it's going to not go on yet, but there it is. Then this next layer is the Mango Melody, and it is 3 by 5. And I've mentioned it before, but sometimes you get this little funky edge when you use the paper trimmer. If you just take your bone folder and just run it along, it kind of helps smooth that edge off so you don't have to see it. You can also turn it over and it goes away because it's only one-sided. But anyway, there's that. And like I said, this is Mango Melody, and it is 3 by 5. Then the basic white piece, that's the final layer or the art layer, is 3 by 4 3/4. Okay, and that's the one we're going to do today. And then we have the circle, which I said was from basic white, and it's the 2 1/8 inch circle from the Layering Circles Punch. This sentiment I stamped with Magenta Madness. Let's do that. Set it aside. Whoa, it jumped right out of my hand. There we go. Get my stamp here. I like this. To a friend that makes me smile. I send out a lot of cards to my friends. Nice sentiment. And I don't worry too much about being perfectly centered. It's just not that important. Sometimes offset actually looks better. Okay, now I do need to put some paper underneath me. Let me get one of my grid sheets here. I should have put up before I started. That'll give me something to work against without getting it all over everywhere. And I'm going to go back and get that one particular, I see a little bit more of the ink on that one yet. I want to be sure and get it good and clean. Much better. Okay. So on this piece, I like to put down something to keep it straight. So I'm going to put my removable adhesive on the back, just a strip of it's all you need. And I'm going to line it up with the grid marks on my grid paper here. This stuff comes in handy for keeping things straight when you want to. Then I'm going to put this over the top of it, and this I am also going to just line up with the grid paper so I know that it's nice and even. And I'm going to find my washi tape scraps on my lamp, and I'm just gonna, because I don't have to worry about the corners because my piece is smaller, I can go ahead and just put one of these on the corners to kind of hold it down. Let's see, yeah, there's another one. Okay, so we've got it. Let me push it up a little bit so you can see the whole thing, just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to use the blending brushes, and I'm going to start with Polished Pink. And then I'm going to go to the Mango Melody. And then I'm going to go to Magenta Madness. So I'm going to need 3 different blending brushes. So let me get those. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Okay, let's start with some pink. We'll get that on there. And I'm going at an angle. And I'm just doing this. And I'm letting it get lighter as I go down, because I want then the yellow to kind of overlap into the pink. Make sure I'm getting clear to the edges of my card. A little tricky to see here. And I'm going to get lighter again as I come down this way. This is lighter. And let's pick up this different pink, the Magenta Madness, and this one is the polished, I believe. No, this is magenta that I'm using here on this section. And I'm overlapping that color. And then I think I'm going to go back and add just a little more yellow down here in this very tippy corner just because I can. Okay, now I can pick this up. And I'm going to leave the top fastened because then I can pick it up and make sure I've got it colored the way I want it. And I'm happy with this. So there it is. Isn't that lovely? And I don't need to wipe that. I'm just going to set it aside for now. You've seen enough of that. Okay, so there's my art piece. Now it's just a matter of building the card. So let me close up my inks, because I'm notorious for getting inks where I don't want it. And we'll set the brushes aside to be cleaned up later. Okay, so now we'll bring this in. We're going to build the layers first. And I put some removable adhesive on that, so I'm just rubbing that off, getting it out of the way. And this piece is going to go on this piece with Stampin' Seal, just flat. And I'm going to put it to the right side, and it's designed to leave 1/8 of an inch down the side and at the top and the bottom. Then I'm going to attach this piece next. No, now I'm going to put my ribbon on. And I cut 2 pieces. One is like about 5.5 or so. So I've got some extra length. I didn't measure very carefully this morning. So that I can wrap it around behind like this. And so only a short piece is going to show up. It's just going to show up right here. You could wait and wrap it around the whole thing. Let's look at that and see what we think. I need to recut my white piece. It's too wide. I think I might try that. They've got my white piece cut too wide. What did I say? 3 by 4 3/4, but it needs to be 2 3/4. So let me change that. So hopefully that's not too confusing. I'll go through the measurements again before I finish. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that on here. I'm going to try it a little different than I did with my original card. And this one's going to be centered with an 1/8 inch border all the way around, just like that. Okay. So just for thinking, the base card is 5.5 by 8.5. The first layer, which is the Melon Mambo, is 4 by 5 1/4. The Mango Melody layer is 2 3/4 by 5. And the white piece, no, 3, I hate it when I make mistakes. The Mango Melody is 3 by 5. And then this basic white piece is 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. Okay. And now I'm going to put the ribbon on the back. And to do that, I'm going to run a piece of the tape on the ribbon. And I'm going to decide how high up I want it on here. Some of what's going to make a difference there is where my sentiment is going to sit. I've managed to bury it. There it is. So yes, that's going to be a good place for it. So I'm going to just do that. And like I say, it's a little bit long. I think I'll trim off some of it. And I'll put some adhesive on the back of it here, just on the end. It doesn't have to be all the way across. You could if you wanted to, but it doesn't need to be. And put it across. And let's see here. I want it to be, get it so it's even. That looks pretty good right there. Just like that. And now this entire piece gets attached to the front with Stampin' Seal. Just like that. And this also leaves an 1/8 inch border all the way around. I usually do it this way, like this. And there's that piece. Now I put this on here a little different. This is over this way instead of the other way. See, the difference is the changes you can make. See what I did? Now I'm going to basically follow the same concept. I'm going to put this on over here, and I'm going to put it on with dimensionals. Get my dimensionals out here. And like I say, this adhesive from Stampin' Up, the Stampin' Seal adhesive, is really quite powerful, and I do really like it. Okay, so I'm going to put that over here like this. I could still put it over here like this. Let's do that. Let's make it just a little bit different. I like that. Okay, then I have another piece. I think it's about 8 inches long or so, and I'm going to make a bow. And to make my bows, I just make a loop in this hand and a loop in this hand. I overlap them like that, put loop 2 down through the hole, and tie. And then I can adjust the bow to the size I want. I never know exactly what size to cut my ribbon, so you may think I'm wasting ribbon when I start cutting the ends off, because I do want this bow pretty small. But you know, if you're better at it than me, I'm glad. Okay, I think that'll work. Let me get my ribbon scissors. These are my ribbon scissors. They have a piece of ribbon attached to them so that I remember they're my ribbon scissors and don't use them to cut paper, so that then when I do need some sharp ribbon scissors, I have them. Then I'm going to just put these on the back with some glue dots. And I will just pick up, I think I'm going to pick up a couple of glue dots for this, make sure it stays really well. And I'm just going to stick my bow right there like that. Then it's time for that bling. I'm going to use, let's see what color this is. This is the Mango Melodies, the orange. The red is more reddish color like this, which I kind of like that darker color, is going to be the, I'm thinking that this is the razzleberry, because it has a razzleberry color. Get my pokey tool, and I'll put some of those on here. Like that. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Again, bling without bulk. Then I gotta find my little brass butterflies. And I got them out and put them somewhere on my table. I love it when I do this. Where did they go? I'm not sure where they went, but I'm going to add brass butterflies too. I'm not sure what I did with them. They're buried in all of my stuff. So you're just going to have to trust me that I'm planning to put brass butterflies on when I find the sheet of them somewhere on my messy desk. Okay? Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope that you will consider getting these layering masks. They are going to be fun. I'm always into making stencils out of cutouts from our dies, and this basically has already done it for us. So enjoy, and you have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Please, if you haven't subscribed to my blog, I invite you to my YouTube channel. I invite you to do so. There's a subscribe button down in the bottom of the screen. And visit my blog. I'm trying to add some more things to my blog, and I'll be talking about those in future videos. Thanks again for stopping by.